Harvey Weinstein was sentenced to 23 years in prison.
Yeah.
Even though his lawyers were asking for 5 years because his life has already been so ruined.
Oh, is that so?
And,
Wow.
you know,
Wow.
he's an older man and he shouldn't. Well, you know, if you keep your business where it's supposed to be, people are not going to come for you.
Yeah, just don't
You
rape
know,
it,
don't
sexually
rape
assault
folks.
people.
Can you break down the 23 years? Like, how does that happen? Like,
Well, he
what-
was
what's that number
convicted of
about?
2 counts. One had an exposure of up to 25 years, and the other one had an exposure up to 4 years. And so, really, he had an exposure up to 29 years, which tells me this judge gave him almost the maximum.
Almost.
And the prosecution in this case, in a letter to the judge, outlined 36 prior bad acts. So not the cases that he was convicted of, but all the other things that he was accused of, and that you had people like Annabella Sciorra testify to.
Yeah.
And that can be
Well,
considered.
she alleged that he raped her, I believe.
Yes,
Yeah.
and so I think that this judge considered all of that and gave him what really is almost a life sentence for someone like
right.
Harvey, because
Was he
he's 67.
He is.
Bye-bye, Harvey.
And he also has 4 more counts that he has to face
Yeah,
in
he's
Los
got to
Angeles.
go to L.A. now.
Wow.
I
Yeah.
think, you know, you're probably not going to get out.
No, I don't think so. You know what he said in court today? He said that men facing allegations in the Me Too movement are being accused of, quote, things that none of us understand, end quote, saying he was confused by the rape case about to put him in prison. Thousands of men are losing due process. I'm worried about this country.
Just had due process.
You just literally had due process. This is
So he still doesn't get it.
Because in his mind, it was consensual.
Yeah.
Because he has a psychosis.
Yeah.
There's something wrong with
Isn't
his
that
head.
incredible? He still doesn't get it.
No.
All these men think it's consensual.
It's
and
a
every one of them
horrible
says
thing.
that
But
he was
certainly-
into it.
You're not letting him off the hook because it's something in his head, you're saying.
No.
Okay.
No.
I just want to...
No.
He's saying he
There's
still doesn't get it.
There's something wrong
Did any of
with
you
people
ever
like
meet
that.
him?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did twice, and I keep thinking about it in my head because he was like such a it was in public and like whatever, but he was like such a physically intimidating man.
Huge.
Large and tall. And I remember even at the time, one time I was on a date and the guy I was on a
Not
date
with
with
him.
knew him. No, I was on a date with another man and the man knew him and he came over and I remember him being like, oh, I know Meghan McCain. And like nothing ever happened, but even at the time I remember being like it's kind of like a weird, it wasn't like, oh, hi, it's a pleasure to meet you. So I can't imagine if you're like an actress or someone coming up. He clearly like felt, and this is like I don't compare my experience at all. It's just weird to think about. It stuck out in my head because there's some men that you meet that just
Creep you
clearly
out.
feel like space is a different kind of boundary. So
You know,
I
we were
can't
talking about
imagine
Chris Matthews
what-
last week.
Oh, wait,
and-
last final thing. Ronan Farrow. Win all the awards,
my
get
goodness,
everything, because this is his doing and his, and he's really looking out for women in the country. We have to give it, because NBC tried to kill this story from him.
True.
So
That's a good reminder. Really good.
Sorry.
You were about to say.
Well, we were talking about Chris Matthews last week, you know, who basically didn't, I don't believe, and you can correct me, I don't think he touched anybody, didn't intimidate anybody, but he did say to a girl, you know, you look gorgeous or something, and I could really fall in love
They
with you.
felt that he sexually harassed them.
But to me, people are complaining all weekend to me that my stance on him was too strict, that he was shouldn't have been fired. Even Bill Maher was saying it's ridiculous, it's cancel culture, etc. But I was thinking, well, why is it that a girl would not like that, or a woman, a young woman, would not like somebody saying, I could fall in love with you? Well, it's flirting. That's what it is. It's flirting. And sometimes you don't want to be flirted with by some old guy that you don't know.
But it can also feel like harassment.
Flirting and rape.
It feels a little bit, well, it's not on the Weinstein scale at all.
No.
But Chris Matthews just lost his job. He's not going to jail, thank goodness.
Bill Maher's point, because I saw that clip too, is that there's a scale. That there is a difference between inappropriately flirting, which was totally wrong, and I agree it was completely inappropriate, and then a serial rapist that had raped
But do you
over
think
80.
that Chris Matthews should have left?
No, I still
don't think so either.
I took heat.
Well,
I think we also need to be proactive and educate young women that are coming up in industries and be open and be a sister's keeper and come up with phrases for young girls who are going to learn to work in these industries.
But I'm not sure that
to say to someone,